folks, Fitz the Crack. I hope you are all well today. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a stuffed picnic loaf. Now, as the name would suggest, this is perfect for picnics, but also perfect for things like work buffets or social group or religious group buffets, anywhere where you're going to need to fill a few mouths with sandwiches. And it's quite a practical way of making a whole load of sandwiches at once, because really you're making one big sandwich all at once rather than, you know, faffing about with lots of individual sandwiches. And depending on the number of mouths you need to feed, you could make 2 or 3 sandwich loaves and take that along with you. As well as being practical, it's also very nice to look at. So when you cut it open and reveal the contents, you should get a few oohs and ahs. And because you can cram a lot into there, you can get a lot of different flavours and also a lot of different colours there in your sandwich loaf. I'm just going to be showing you one example of what you could pop in there, but really the world is your oyster. You can put whatever you want into your sandwich, and today I'll be showing you how to do that. So let's get cooking. So we're going to start with a loaf of bread. I've got a sourdough loaf here, and what you want to do is just start by cutting off the top. Now, this loaf is a little lopsided, so the top's going to be a little lopsided. I do try to cut a flat surface for yourself. We're then going to get our hands stuck in. If you don't want to use your hands, you can of course use a spoon or something like that, but I find it's easiest just to use your hands and go ahead and essentially take the bread out of the bread. It's going to get rid of the inside. Now you can do whatever you want with the excess bread. You could feed it to the birds. It might be a nice idea to take it along and feed the birds while you're at the picnic, probably after you've actually eaten, because you don't want the birds hanging around your food. Or you could save it for breadcrumbs. Yeah. Plenty of options. You don't have to let the bread go to waste. Make sure that you get right round the inside, get it right to the corners. But do try not to poke a hole in your bread. Kind of ruin the effect a little bit. That is one reason why it's probably best to use your hands, because you can kind of have a feel of how close you are to the edge of the bread, whereas if you went in with say a spoon, you're not going to get as much of a tactile response. You do want to get rid of as much of the inside as you can, and that way you'll have more room for all the tasty fillings you're going to put inside. And that is the bread essentially hollowed out and ready for stuffing. Do remember to keep the lid, do not throw that out. You want to pop that back on top after you've stuffed it. So our next step is going to be to add a little bit of moisture to the inside of the bread. So you could use something like mayo, depending on your other fillings. I'm going to use pesto because I'm going for a sort of caprese theme, a sort of Italian theme for my loaf. So find the easiest way to spread this is with a spoon rather than a knife, because that's going to get around the inside a little bit easier than if you were to use a knife. It can get around those edges a little bit better. I'm going to give mine a really good coating of pesto so it can add lots of flavour. Get it all the way around the bread, get it up the top as well. Don't know how well you'll be able to see inside the cavern there, but I've got it right the way up the top. Don't forget to add some to your lid as well. So my first filling is some roasted red peppers. So we're straight in with a nice vibrant colour there. And you want to make sure that whatever you're stuffing inside, you are getting it right to the edges of the bread so that everybody gets a good amount of filling no matter where you slice the bread. You want to leave as few gaps as possible. Next, I'm adding some roast chicken slices. So again, layer that in. Don't miss any spaces out. Next, we can add a bit of green. I'm adding some leaves from my homegrown lettuce. I'm going to really cram that in there because it's nice fresh lettuce. It should keep its crunch. Don't worry if it does start to look a bit fill. We're really going to cram the ingredients in. So the weight of the other ingredients will push the other ones down. And to this green layer, I'm going to add some torn basil, also homegrown. That will just add a little bit more flavour. Next, another red layer. I'm adding some thick sliced tomato. It is a good idea to cut your slices quite thick because everything's going to get squished down. And if you add quite a thin layer, you might not be able to see it as well. Next, I've got some sliced mozzarella. Again, typical Italian fare there. Now I have just about enough space to add one last thing, some Parma ham. I'm going to sort of fold this up so that you can actually see a layer of it because they are very thin slices. Well, Parma ham is always thin, but well, Parma ham should always be thin. I'm not complaining that it's thin, or saying that it's not usually thin. I'm a little worried this is gonna burst open because it's so full. But we've got a good sturdy sourdough loaf here. It should hold firm. There, now we've finished stuffing it, but we're not quite finished completely. There is one more step to go, so don't go away quite yet. So last couple of steps. First, you're going to wrap it nice and tight in some cling film or saran wrap for the Americans. And we are going to pop something heavy on top, and that's going to compress everything in, which means it's going to hold together when you slice it open. It's not going to just fall apart and ruin all your hard work. So you could use something like, put something flat on top and then add a couple of tins of beans or tins of whatever. I tend to find that's a bit precarious. The tins tend to roll off and make a loud noise in your kitchen. What is better, I think, is a good heavy textbook if you've got one around. So I have got this big old heavy recipe book here. It's not really that heavy. And just whack that on top. It's still a little bit precarious, but it should hold. So you're going to pop your heavy thing on top for at least 2 hours. You can leave it overnight as well. So it's quite nice to make the night before and then leave it sitting until the next day when you're going to be having your picnic or your work lunch or wherever you're bringing your loaf. So if you want to see me opening up and enjoying the picnic loaf, you can do so next Sunday. I'm going to be doing a picnic mukbang, so I'll be having the sandwich and some other quite typical British picnic fare. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. Hope you're looking forward to that as well if you do enjoy my mukbang videos. But till then, cheerio, bye.